Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. This is Tariq Amin, lecturer, Department of English, Quart University of Science and Technology, Kohat. A very warm welcome to the course of Communication Skills. This is video number 2 of the lecture number 23. And our today's topic is barriers to effective communication. Lecture outlines of today's class include: first of all, we will discuss communication. After that, we will discuss psychological barriers. And the major psychological barriers that we will discuss in this class, in this video, are lack of attention, premature evaluation, poor retention, loss by translation, distrust, emotions, etc. So in the video number 1 of the lecture number 23, we discussed what is communication, what is barrier, and what is communication barrier. And we discussed two types of barriers, that are physical barriers and semantic barriers. In this video number 2 of the lecture number 23, we are going to discuss the third major type of communication barrier, that is psychological barrier. Psychological barrier is the influence of psychological state of the communication. Psychological state of the communication are the mental state of the communicators. Communicators are sender and receiver. Sender sends a message and receiver receives a message. So it is the psychological state of the communicators, mental state of the senders and receivers, which creates an obstacle for effective communication. So we always find two types of senders and receivers, and their mental states and their psychological states affects the communication process. They create an obstacle for effective communication. Communication is influenced and disturbed by the mental condition. It is disturbed and it is influenced by the mental condition of the communicators are in. Their mental condition disturbed and influenced the communication process. It influenced the communication process. If the people involved in communication are not emotionally well, for example, if they are tensed and if they are angry, if they are tensed and they have also got some other issues, they won't be able to communicate properly. If they are not emotionally well, they are tensed and they are anxious, they are angry, they are worried. So it means that they are not emotionally well, and as a result, they will not be able to communicate properly with anyone. So it is necessary for an effective communication that the communicators should be emotionally well. The main kinds of psychological or emotional barriers are, so psychological barriers are also called emotional barriers, and their main kinds are lack of attention, premature evaluation, poor retention, loss by translation, distrust, emotions. The very first one is lack of attention. As its name shows, that when there is lack of attention in communication process, it also affects the communication process. When the person is preoccupied by some other things, for example, you are listening to a speaker and you are preoccupied with some other things. For example, you are thinking about other things. You are thinking about your exam. You are thinking about your family issues. It means that you are preoccupied. When you are preoccupied by other things, you would not be able to listen carefully to the speaker. You will not be able to listen carefully what the other person is speaking. And when you will not be able to listen carefully to what the other is speaking, this arises the psychological barrier in communication. When you are preoccupied and you are thinking about some other things, as a result, you would not be able to listen carefully to the speaker, and this will result in psychological barrier. This will result in barrier to communication. The communication barrier, communication and effective communication would not be able to occur. When the person does not listen to others, then he would not be able to comprehend the message. When you don't listen to others, as a result, you would not be able to comprehend the messages of the speakers. And you would not be able to comprehend and understand the messages of the speaker, it will the you will not be able to give proper feedback. If you don't listen to the speaker, how would you able to give proper feedback? Premature evaluation. Premature evaluation is another psychological barrier. Most of the time, listeners jump to the conclusion. They don't listen properly. They don't listen to the different messages of the speakers properly. They don't listen to the speakers completely. They don't let the speakers finish their talk. They don't let the speakers complete their statement, their presentation, and they jump to the conclusions before the speakers are done with their presentation, before the speakers have stated their statements. This is generally done by the people who are impatient. Most of the time, this is done by the impatient listeners and resort to selective listening. Those people who most of the time do selective listening. This is done by those people who are impatient and those who do selective listening. They don't listen to anything completely. They just listen to just a part of the message. We have discussed what selective listening is in the previous classes. This premature evaluation of the information acts as a barrier to effective communication because when you don't listen to the speakers completely and you jump to the conclusion and you evaluate the message before the speakers have completed their message, they have completely stated their message, and you evaluate it, you start evaluating it, you would evaluate it incorrectly, you would jump to the incorrect conclusion when you don't listen to the speakers completely. And as a result, it lowers the morale of the sender. When you start evaluating the sender before he or she has completed his or her talk, this lowers the morale of the sender. Another one is poor retention. The brain does not store all the information that come across, but in fact retain only those which it deems to be useful or helpful in the future. When we listen to different people or when we hear different people listening to different people, we can't retain all the information. We can't retain all the things that we hear through our ears. We can't retain all the information that we see through our eyes, that we receive through our eyes. We just retain just a part of that information. We retain only those parts of the message, those parts of the information that are helpful for us, that we think are effective for us, that are useful for us. So we don't retain all the information. We retain just a part of the information. Therefore, much of the information gets lost during the retention process. In this retention process, much of the information gets lost because we can retain only a limited information in our mind. And this acts as a barrier to communication process. Another one is loss by transmission. It is often observed in oral communication. Loss by transmission. This barrier is often observed in oral communication, and it is not usually observed in written communication. In oral communication is when you communicate with someone face to face, and you use spoken symbol in communication. This is oral communication. And in oral communication, when you communicate with a person and you transfer the different messages to that person, here in this communication process, loss of information occurs. Okay, it is observed in oral communication. In oral communication, people handle information carelessly. In oral communication, people are observed to handle communication carelessly. They don't handle communication with care. They handle communication carelessly. and transmits the information which has lost some of its truth. They transmit those information which has lost some of its truth. Most of the time, the truth of the information is lost in oral communication, whereas its truth cannot be lost in written communication, because written communication is something fixed. No one can change it. Whereas in oral communication, when you transfer information, you transmit information to other person, most of the time its truth is lost. Thus, the improper and lack of information being transmitted, like the improper information and the lack of information being transmitted to others, act as a hindrance in the communication process. When you transmit incorrect information, when you transmit improper information, when you transmit information that has lost its truth, it acts as a hindrance. It acts as an obstacle in communication process. Another one is distrust. If there is lack of trust between both the parties. Both the parties, most of the time, some of the time we find that there is lack of trust between the parties. Parties means sender and receivers. If there is lack of trust between the senders and receivers, or if there is lack of trust between the parties, they will tend to derive negative meaning. They will tend to derive negative meaning out of the messages and often ignore what has been communicated. First of all, if there is lack of trust between the parties, they will they will always try to derive negative meaning out of the positive messages. They will try their level best to derive negative meaning, even if the messages are positive, even if the messages contain positive meaning, positive information. And most of the time, they will ignore what has been communicated. They will not pay attention to what has been communicated. They will totally ignore the information. If the receiver has no trust, then he will not listen to whatever is being communicated by the sender. If the receiver does not trust in the sender, then he will not listen to what is being said by the sender. And on the contrary, if the receiver has trust, then he will listen to whatever is being communicated by the sender. He will listen to him completely. He will listen to him with care. He will listen to him with passion, and he will listen to him and will pay attention to what is being communicated by him or her. And this will result in a meaningless communication. If there is lack of trust between the parties and the receiver does not listen to whatever is being communicated by the sender, and the listener does not listen to the speaker, this will result in meaningful communication. Even if the sender sends messages to the receiver, it will result in meaningless communication, because when this receiver does not pay attention to the speaker or to his messages, then how is it possible that effective communication will occur? This will always result in meaningless communication. Emotions also play an important role in communication process. The communication is greatly influenced by the emotions of a person, by the emotion of a sender and the emotion of receiver. And if a person is not in a good temperament, then he would not listen properly to whatever is said. If a person is not emotionally well, for example, he is tensed, he is angry, he is anxious, he is worried, or he is tensed, it means that he is not emotionally well. And if he is not emotionally well, he would not listen properly to whatever is said by the sender. And if he is not emotionally well, he might say some offending things to the sender. Some might say things that are offending the sender. Other emotions such as anger, nervousness, confusion, etc. also affect the communication process. Attitudes and opinions are also important in communication. Personal attitude and opinion often acts as a barrier to effective communication. How? If information agrees with agrees with our opinion and attitude. For example, we receive information, and if this information agrees with our attitude and with our opinions, our ideas and our beliefs, we tend to receive it comfortably. And if on the contrary, the information does not agree with our beliefs, it does not agree with our attitudes, it does not match our attitude, it is against our attitude, against our beliefs, against our religion, etc., we don't receive it comfortably and we totally ignore such information. But if an information disagrees with our views, we do not react favorably. Indeed, we totally reject it. We totally disagree with it. We ignore such information. Closed mind. This is also an important psychological barrier. A person with a closed mind is very difficult to communicate with. It becomes highly difficult for a person to communicate with a person having closed mind. A person having closed mind is always difficult to communicate with. He is a man with deeply ingrained prejudices. He is having many ingrained prejudices. And he is not prepared to reconsider his opinion. No matter whatever you talk to him, whatever you tell him, he will never listen to you. Even if he listens to you, he will never react positively to your message. He will not accept your opinion. He will not accept your ideas. He will not accept your messages. And as a result, he will not reconsider his opinion. He will not reconsider his beliefs because his mind is closed. His mind is not open to different new ideas. His mind is not open to different opinions. His mind is totally closed. Status consciousness. This exists in every organization and is a major barrier to effective communication. We can find people of different status in different organizations, such as in caste. At caste, we can see people with different statuses. For example, people have different status. For example, vice chancellor has got one status, deans have got another status, heads of the departments have got another status, and there are some other people. And this status almost all the people who work in an organization are status conscious most of the time, and this status consciousness exists in every organization, and it acts as a major barrier to effective communication. Now, how it is a major barrier to effective communication? Because subordinates feel afraid. Subordinates are afraid of communicating upward any unpleasant information. If there is unpleasant information, they cannot communicate it to the upward authorities. And when they are not able to, when they don't communicate unpleasant information, it means that communication does not occur between the upwards and the lower employees. So it means that there is barrier. Okay, status conscious superiors think that consulting their juniors would be compromising their dignity, and the people with the higher status consider that think that if they consult their juniors for any other thing, for anything, if they consult them and they take any advice from them, this would be compromising their dignity. This would not be good for their dignity. So status consciousness also acts as a barrier to communication in different organizations. You can't, the people who are status conscious don't communicate with other people. They don't communicate with upward people or lower level people. These are the references. Thank you very much for listening to the video. Allah Hafiz.